I'll be talking about our experience of implementing AI across our portfolio, all at once, all in one go. So you might have heard, my name is Anil Singh. I am the Chief Technology Officer at a company called Veritas Investments. So who we are, let's dive a bit detail into Veritas Investments. So Veritas is owner and operator of multifamily real estate, own more than 250 plus buildings in the markets of San Francisco, Los Angeles, Seattle. We are a tech-enabled, vertically integrated company. What that means is we use technology to run our business. We are owner and operator. That means we also operate our buildings. So from leasing to marketing to property management to maintenance, we do it all in-house. And because we manage 250 plus buildings in San Francisco and has great experience managing our own buildings, we are also building third-party property management services, offering to clients in San Francisco and Los Angeles. And we do employ more than 100 plus maintenance technicians on our payroll. And I think we are the largest maintenance technicians employer in the market of San Francisco. So that's who we are. Our brands are RentSF Now for leasing, Green Tree for property management, and True Residential for Los Angeles market. Let's talk about why did we implement AI and why did we do it all at once? So we have always used technology to run our business. But despite having many technologies and many processes that are powered on technology, we still have several gaps. A couple of examples of gaps were, we were slow in responding to our prospects if they want to reach out to us, let's say, on a Friday evening. So if somebody calls us on a Friday evening, who is calling from New York, wants to move to San Francisco, wants to book a tour, there's a good chance we'll get in touch with them and book a tour over the weekend. But most probably, we may miss their call, or by the time we get to them, it will be Monday morning. Guess what? 48 hours have passed, and we have not spoken to the prospect. And the prospect may have moved on to some other properties. So that was definitely a gap. In our day-to-day operations, we also observed that our phones are not connected to systems. So when a leasing agent is talking to a prospect, or when a building manager is talking to a tenant, those conversations could be happening over a phone call, over a text message, but we don't know what those conversations are. And sometimes to better serve our tenants, to better serve our prospects, it's important that we know what is happening behind the scene. We need to see the transcript of what is being talked about. And that was a gap because, yes, they used cell phone and they have the AI-powered voice over IP on their phone, but a conversation that could have taken 10 minutes over a maintenance call, we just have no details into what happened. So that was definitely a gap. And also, we have disparate, expansive systems. So for example, we had an amazing CRM system that would mostly help all the prospects, but would the residents benefit from it? Most likely not, because residents weren't even on it. So those were some of the gaps why we thought AI can help us. And why did we roll out all across our portfolio all at once? That means we implemented AI across 250 buildings in one go. When I was at RETCON last year, there were lots of owners and operators, companies like us, who were piloting on 2 properties, 5 properties, a small portion of their portfolio. Guess what? If you are piloting on a small set of portfolio, first the pilot is going to drag long because you are trying to fix every single problem, every minor problem that you run on pilot. You are also replicating the same process because 90% of the portfolio, 95% of the portfolio where you are not running the pilot, you're not going to disrupt the process. So for the pilot, you're just going to rinse and repeat the same process you have, and that may or may not be the best process. That may or may not be ready for AI. And we didn't want to get into that kind of a problem where we are just replicating the same process. I have also seen people design complex solutions when they are piloting AI. So when they are doing AI, guess what they are doing, right? They are thinking, I'm going to have a conversational AI, but I already have a CRM system that works well for us. Can I just put AI, the conversational piece of AI, in front of the CRM and make it all work? And I'm seeing lots of large companies trying to glue that kind of two solutions together and make it all work. And I talk to them and I tell you it's not working for any of them. Because how do you pass a prospect that you are interacting with and what is happening there to the system, CRM system that may have? Maybe we are building some kind of a hack that may or may not work. So people are creating complex design that's not working. And if you are seeing any progress, it's an incremental progress. And you are increasing your cost and confusion along the way. So after we decided to do the pilot, we thought about what should we buy? And we are in San Francisco. We are a very tech-forward company. We are always thinking about technology all the time. That's our demographic. So over several years, we would always talk to the PMS company, the large PMS companies, and see what they are building. We'll talk to new startups to see what they are building. We'll talk to other big solutions provider to see what they are building. So what was important to us in the product that we pick is it has to have the best conversational AI. And I tell you, now feels like so many companies or so many vendors have a good conversational AI. When we were evaluating, let's say 2 years ago, there weren't that many. But one of the criteria that we had was, let's pick something that has the best conversational AI. We also wanted one platform, one AI platform that can handle it all, not just the prospect side of it, because there are incumbents who have amazing product for prospect and the whole prospect journey, and they are building bots for the prospect journey, or maybe they are a little bit better in that aspect. But we wanted everything, not just the prospect, but also a solution that works for our residents. So it had to solve both. Also, I talked about should have transcripts of all the voice communication, all the text communication, so we can review what's happening, see what's working, what's not working. We also wanted a very obvious one, a seamless handoff between an AI. AI cannot solve all the problems. There are situations where AI has to hand it off to humans. So how does that human look like? Or how does the human interaction look like? And once the human is done with their work, can the AI pick it up from there? And also what's important for us was, is the vendor willing to listen to us? As we are using their product, are they going to listen to us and say, is it working for you guys? If it's not working for you guys, will they listen to our feedback and go improve their product? So it was very important for us that vendor is willing to improve their product based on our feedback. Some of the design aspect, I'll talk about it, how we approached designing our onboarding process, because we were not doing a pilot, we were running across all 250 plus portfolio of properties. So real estate is a combination of workflows. Workflows means journeys. So how do we handle our journey, map out all the details? We also wanted to design a context-sensitive routing. What that does mean is, if a conversation is going one way, or another way, or a third way, how can AI route to the right team to hand it off? So that routing is super important, and it has to be context sensitive. We also wanted AI to handle admin tasks, or if it's an admin task, find a way to outsource it where it can be handled easily and at a much lower cost. We already centralized, so centralization continued to be a huge importance to us. And one aspect of design we missed, and I'll touch on it on a subsequent slide, is when you are designing a solution, you have to design a solution that is for people on the move. 80% of our people who support our buildings are on the go. They are not sitting in front of the computer, and we missed that aspect of design in the process. We were so focused on how would it work, how would everything put into place, that aspect we kind of didn't take into consideration as much as we should have. Impact on our teams, I'll go through it quickly. Of course, with AI handling 60-70% of the work, location matters less where people are located. Roles shifted to function, because now you have AI handling bulk of it. If it's a specialized something related to ledger, you are handing that cost to the ledger people, the AR people. If it's something related to the residents' needs day to day, you're handing it off to the building managers. And we wanted to make sure that our on-site teams focus on high-value tasks. One of the highlight here is, what is the impact of humans when you're implementing AI? When you are implementing AI, 70%, 60% of tasks that used to be handled by AI is now getting handled, that used to be handled by humans are now getting handled by AI. Well, guess what humans are feeling? They are feeling less in control. They are wondering if AI is doing the right job or not. So they are always feeling about it, and we only learned about it. Before we started our journey, we didn't think that would be a problem. But when we talk to people, they are saying, man, we feel less in control because I was in the middle of everything. Now 60% is done by others, by the AI. So that was something important to us. How did we focus on adoption? Of course, leadership support, all the way from CEO to other C-level people to managers to people who are touching and talking to the residents and prospects. Super important. Mindset is extremely important. People knew AI is here to stay. They may push back as much as they want, but it's not going away. Might as well learn it. And it's okay to fail. And those are all part of the mindset. We also gave people who are owned the process before, we gave them the agency in the process design. So they were vested. They were not just being handed over a process, but they had a say in the process design. Of course, vendor partnership, training, but one thing that stood out from adoption is trust takes time. Only because they have a tool and they have heard what needs to be done doesn't mean they will start trusting. And as I said, because 60% of the work has been taken away from their hands, being handled by AI, they are still building the trust. That's the real world thing. Here are my top 3. After launching AI across 250 plus buildings, here are my top 3 on what's working well, what's not working well yet, and what's my wish list. What's working well is area of leasing function is working well. So prospect calls, tours are scheduled, is getting scheduled at the fastest pace possible. That's working well. All the resident-facing function, most of it is working really well. Resident calls, their needs are taken care of, no problem. Collections and delinquencies, I think those we expected least, I guess, or maybe we had our least attention, but definitely that's working really, really well. What's not working too well, I already talked about, on the go. Workflows is on the go. They're not sitting in front of the computer. They are helping a resident in their unit. If some other resident calls, if they miss the call, they don't know who called because there is just a phone number. So if they're in front of the computer, they can see the full context. If they're on the go, it's a bit of a problem, so that's not working too well. Cross-selling, we have lots of buildings in a small radius, 250 plus buildings in San Francisco alone. So how do you cross-sell to 5 different buildings through an AI? So it's all the AI that's cross-selling. We have almost figured it out. I think it's getting there. Backup coverage, again, you have different people backing up over the weekend. How do you do the easy configuration so backup is done easily? And what are some of the wish list? I will focus on the first 2 in the interest of time. So when AI is handling your problem, it's solving lots of problems for you. What that means is, if you have a repetitive problem that's happening in your building, that AI took care of it for you, that means you don't know that there is a problem. There is a bigger problem that AI is masking for you, right? If you were handling those yourself, you would know that there is a leak on all the windows on the west side of the building. But now you don't, because AI took care of it. AI solved the problem, took care of the problem. You don't know. So AI is masking a repetitive problem that you would rather want to know. Same thing, I'll touch on the next one really quick. We have hundreds and thousands of conversations happening in AI. Some are good, some are not so good. Are all the conversations ideal the way you want it to be? Maybe not. My wish list is, can AI rate its own conversation? So give it a rating out of 10. Say this conversation is 7, or this conversation is a 2. That way you can focus on all the conversations that, let's say, 2, 3, something along the lines, right? And say, why didn't have the good conversation, or why certain conversations was good? Because right now, what do people do? They are just wondering, and they are scanning all the conversations, but it's too much to scan. If there was an easy way to filter give me all the conversations below 5, I can take a look and solve, right? So find a way for AI to do their own scoring. And again, design around the real world operations, right? So look what a day look like in your operation. Look what a week look like in your operation. Try to mimic that when you are operating, when you are building it out. What would I do differently? Knowing what I know now, I touched on some of it already. Design process first, technology second, of course, and plan for adoption. When we were implementing, I guess we focused a little too much on implementation and making sure everything is onboarded, making sure everything is trained. And we missed, for example, as I said, how will it work when our people are on the go? So we perhaps had a miss there. So when you are implementing it, plan for adoption, not just implementation. And we all know AI is a cultural shift. It's not just a technology shift, it's a cultural shift. So be ready for that. And last slide, I don't know if we'll have time for maybe one question, but AI is not just about efficiency. AI is about reimagining how you run your business, how you run your operation, not just for your own teams and be efficient from your own team, but also for residents and the future of the whole industry. That's kind of my presentation.